This is my desk setup, and for the past 4 years, it's looked more or less the same, clean, minimal, and Stormtrooper white. Sure, it's gone through a few tweaks here and there, but the core vibe has stayed consistent until now. Everything's about to change. Introducing my new desk setup. I've completely rethought how I use my space, and what I'm about to show you is the most functional, creative, and personal setup I have ever built. Huge thanks to Vernal for sponsoring this video and sending over the desk along with a few matching accessories I'll cover in a bit, but first, the centerpiece, the desk itself. This is Vernal's sit-stand desk, and it really anchors the entire setup. It's 180 centimeters wide by 75 centimeters deep with a beautiful maple wood top and clean white legs. Assembly was super straightforward. The tabletop came pre-drilled, all the parts were well padded, and even while filming, I had it built solo in about 45 minutes. Stability is a huge standout here. There's no wobble at full height thanks to the reinforced frame, 2 vertical support screws for lateral strength, and the tight tolerances in the column design to prevent screen shake. The thick 2.3 by 2.3 inch legs give you a solid planted feel, and the dual motor is smooth and quiet and powerful, rated for over 20,000 lift cycles and up to 15 years of use. It adjusts from 25 to 50.6 inches, so it's flexible enough whether you're 5'3" or 6'9", and it also features a smart power saving tech like an auto sleep mode for the keypad when not in use. The second part of the Vernal setup is the matching desk shelf, and just like the desk, it's beautifully designed and thoughtfully built. Assembly was a breeze with just a few screws, and I really like that Vernal included rubber pads to protect the desktop surface from scratching or shifting. It even includes a built-in sliding tray that slides out smoothly on felt-lined tracks, keeping things quiet and scratch-free. Beneath the shelf, there's a hollow space that's ideal for stashing your keyboard, a notebook, or anything else you want out of sight but within reach. It's a great way to keep your workspace organized and clutter-free. One of my favorite design choices is the way the shelf legs are shaped to allow cable routing underneath, so not only does this help you hide cables for a cleaner setup, but it also gives you extra slack by letting your cables run through the leg opposed to wrapping around it. If you've seen my setup before, you probably know that my monitor is wall mounted, so technically I don't need a standing desk for the height adjustments, but I still went with one because of one key reason: stability. And this one delivers. It's built like a tank. There's no wobble, there's no flex, just solid, reliable support. Exactly what you want in a foundation for a workspace like this. Once the desk was in, I took time to dial in the perfect height, one that gave me enough leg room, the right viewing angle for my wall mounted display, and just the right clearance under the Vernal desk shelf. After a bit of fine tuning, everything looked balanced and functional, and once I locked in that ideal height, I unplugged the motor since I don't plan on adjusting it, flipped the desk, and got to work on the next step: cable management. But first, I added a drawer underneath the desk, a simple but effective upgrade, and installation was straightforward. Just screw in the rails using the pre-drilled holes and slide the drawer into place. I've never had a drawer in my desk setup before, so I'm curious to see how much it improves everyday use, and so far, I love it. It's completely flush, adds extra storage, and the maple finish matches the desk perfectly. Vernal also offers laminated desktops. The price starts at $429.99, and use code YTCB and get 6% off at checkout. With that done, I moved on to the part I was most focused on this time around: cable management. One of the most important pieces of this setup is the CalDigit Thunderbolt 4 docking station, which I mounted under the desk. The TS4 packs a serious punch with 18 ports, 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, 8 USB ports in total, 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, and even a front-facing 20-watt USB-C port for fast charging. Mounting it took a bit of a DIY effort. I used one of the pre-drilled holes meant for the desk keypad as a guide and drilled a few more to secure the dock. The mount that I used is actually just a laptop tray I found on Amazon, and luckily the dimensions worked out perfectly, and to keep things extra secure, I added 3M adhesive between the dock and the tray so there's no sliding, no wobble when I'm plugging accessories in and out, and honestly, this is one of the best DIY moves I've ever pulled off. I usually mess this kind of stuff up. Now, if there's one thing I think my setups have always been known for, it's no visible cables, and I wasn't about to let that standard slip. I picked up 2 cable management kits from Amazon, one with adhesive cable raceways and another packed with clips. I ran the raceways underneath the desk using the included 3hem adhesive and went all in with the clips, keeping every wire secured and invisible. And it was definitely overkill, but totally worth it. From every angle, the cables are going to be clean, tucked away, and basically invisible, which is always the goal. Before I moved the desk back into place, I added a new piece of wall art, this disassembled iPhone 10 from Grid Studios. I already have the iPhone 4S and iPad mini on the other side of the wall, and I usually add a new frame every time I do a major desk upgrade. The iPhone 10 felt like the right choice, not just because of how iconic it is, but it's because it's the phone I've used the longest, and it's also the device I started my content creation journey on. All of my earlier photos and videos were shot on it. They're extremely rough to look back on, but hey, we all gotta start somewhere. So having it all on the wall in this beautiful deconstructed form feels like a full circle moment in a way, and a little reminder of just where I started. With the desk fully assembled, it's time to start bringing everything back, and first up were the Kanto TUK bookshelf monitors. These speakers have been a staple in my setup for a few years now, and they continue to impress. The TUKs deliver a rich, detailed audio thanks to their onboard DSP, AMT tweeters, and 5.25-inch aluminum drivers. The highs are sharp, the mids are clean, and the bass is surprisingly full, so whether I'm editing a video, watching content, or just vibing to some music, they always sound fantastic. They sit on Kanto's SP6 HD stands, which raise them up to ear level for the best sound quality, and the stand also allows for up to 30 degrees of rotation and are made from heavy duty steel and have foam padding to reduce vibration. One of the best little details is the center column is hollow, so I can route the speaker cables cleanly through the stands. It's subtle, but it makes a huge difference in keeping the setup looking clean. And just like that, speakers in place, monitor already mounted, and aside from my peripherals, the essentials were back. But of course, we're just getting started. It's time to bring the desk shelf back, slide the tray in, and start dialing in the details to make this workspace mine and something personal, functional, and creatively optimized like never before. Now onto one of the newer additions to the setup, but first, yes, another Apple Thunderbolt Pro cable. If you've been watching my videos or noticed it in my desk setup before, you've probably seen these cables pop in and out everywhere, and yeah, they're expensive for what looks like just another normal USB-C cable, but honestly, they're the only ones I trust to deliver reliable performance every single time. This one's the 3-meter version, and it's going to connect to a portable monitor, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but for now, it's mounted using the Grove Made Wood iPad stand, which turned out to be the perfect fit. Originally designed for tablets, this stand checks all the boxes. It's handcrafted from American hardwood and stainless steel with soft merino wool felt to protect your device. It's got a solid weight to it so it stays in place, and the integrated cord channel is essential for keeping things tidy. I ran the Thunderbolt cable through, pushed it into place, and it was just so smooth and simple, but what wasn't so simple was the cable management. This part took a little more patience. Speaker wires are always the worst. They're bulkier, harder to bend, and way more visible than your normal USB or power cords. This time, I decided to try something new, and I used one of the cable sleeves that came with the desk organization kit, and I have no idea why I didn't try this sooner. Just wrapping the speaker wires together instantly made everything look way cleaner and way more intentional. It's a small fix, but it changes the whole look of the speaker setup. But then came the real boss battle, managing everything under the desk. Luckily, I had already pre-planned most of it, so the raceways were already mapped out, the mounting clips were in place, so from here, I just routed each cable using individual single clips and then grouped them together using the larger ones to keep everything flush and aligned. For the vertical run towards the floor, I kept it simple with just some zip ties. It's not the fanciest solution, and it's going to be a little annoying whenever I need to adjust things later, but hey, there's no visible cables from the speakers or the dock. To take care of the cable slack, I bundled everything into another sleeve, and it somehow all fit, and now there's just one clean run from the desk to the wall outlet. What's even better is once I slide my storage cabinet underneath, everything will be completely hidden just like my last setup. Speaking of the cabinet, this is the Vernal rolling cabinet in white, and it's been a great upgrade. It comes fully assembled, so there's no tools necessary or no IKEA style instructions, so you just unbox it and go, and that's a big deal for me since I'd much rather spend time actually setting up my gear rather than building furniture. Here's how I got it organized. The top drawer has my MacBook Air, external drives, and my Rode headphones. In the middle drawer, I have my cleaning supplies like microfiber cloths, sprays, and whatever I need to quickly wipe down my gear. And then in the bottom drawer, I'm still trying to figure this one out, as in my last setup, things got a little bit too chaotic, so I'm trying to keep it flexible, so maybe I'll just do like my speaker remote, my travel pouch, a power strip, and my go-to charger and some pencils. With the main gear now locked in at the setup, it's time to start adding the little things back to the desk, starting with an underrated but essential part of my setup, which is the surface that my peripherals rest on. For me, it's the Grove Made wool felt desk pad, and it's been a staple in my workspace for a few years now, and honestly, I still haven't found anything better. Speaking of wool felt, there's a little bonus in the Vernal desk drawer. It actually comes with a custom cutout wool felt liner that sits flush inside the drawer and adds a soft protective layer for whatever you plan to store in there. Technically, this drawer is designed to act as like a pull-out keyboard tray, but instead I'm just going to use it to store my iPad Pro when it's not in use, along with a few accessories like this Thunderbolt cable, an iPad case from Moft, my travel SSD, and of course the Apple Pencil. Let's talk peripherals, because while they might seem like small upgrades, the changes I've made here have made a big impact, not just on comfort, but on how cohesive and refined the entire setup feels. Starting on the left, I'm still using the Apple Magic Trackpad, but it now sits inside a Grovemade's Maple trackpad tray paired with their matching wrist rest. It's all carved from solid American maple, hand finished with rich oil treatment that brings warmth and texture to the desk. The keyboard got the same treatment, and I've actually switched back to the Apple Magic Keyboard, but don't get me wrong, I still love mechanical keyboards, but there's just something about the Magic Keyboard with its simplicity and reliability that just works. Just like the trackpad, it's paired with Grovemade's maple keyboard tray and wrist rest, and this combination of solid wood, vegetable tan leather, and the slight elevation makes it both beautiful and functional. It just looks premium, and that's because it is, but it also feels great to type on every day. Over on the right side of the desk, I've added Grovemade's leather mouse pad with a built-in pencil holder, and this just adds a soft texture under the mouse, ties in the maple and leather theme, and keeps a pencil within reach. As for the mouse, after 5 great years, I'm finally retiring my Logitech MX Master 3 and upgraded to the 3S. It's a modest refresh, but better in all the right places, as the quiet clicks are super satisfying without the noise, and the MagSpeed scroll wheel is still as precise and buttery smooth as ever, capable of stopping on a single pixel or scrolling through 1,000 lines in a flash. And honestly, I won't lie, a big part of the reason why I made the switch is this new pale gray colorway, as it just perfectly matches the rest of my Apple gear and ties in the whole setup together, just looking clean, subtle, and minimal. Maybe it's just me, but I'm obsessed with how cohesive everything looks now. From the trackpad and the keyboard to the mouse, everything is elevated by Grovemade's signature blend of maple and leather, and it just feels so curated and feels so complete. Now technically, I don't need a desk shelf anymore, not with the added storage from the drawer and the side cabinet, but I still love having one. And that's beyond the extra organization, as it gives me a dedicated space to add personality and warmth to the setup, which to me is just as important as function. Under the shelf on the left, I brought back a small garden style wax warmer, and it fits super snug and nicely here with its fake plants and decorative rocks, not to mention it smells amazing, so it's both a candle and a decorative piece. On the right underside of the shelf, I kept things simple with 2 small fake plants, and they've been in and out of my setup over the years now. On the top of the shelf, the right side features a couple of returning favorites, which include my miniature black pearl ship from the Pirates of the Caribbean, as well as Jack Sparrow's compass. These have been with me since the early days of my desk setup, and of course my childhood, as these are just toys, but it's a subtle thing that adds so much character to my space. And honestly, at this point, Jack Sparrow has earned a spot at Captain Jack Sparrow has more than earned a spot at the desk setup at this point. The left side of the shelf took some trial and error, but I finally landed on something quite unique, which is this QQ Nebula beam lamp. Its magnetic modular design gives a futuristic feel, and the soft 2200 Kelvin glow is perfect for late night editing or writing sessions. With 3 touch activated light modes like low, high, and this ambient breathing mode, it adds a cozy, warm mood without overpowering the space. To the far right of the desk, I kept the greenery going with a fake plant I added last year, so no maintenance required, and it still brings just enough life to the workspace. On the left side, I've gone a bit analog with a blue notebook and the Grovemade desk pad in titanium. This thing is beautifully made, precision machined from solid titanium. It's lightweight but sturdy, and it sits in a sleek maple base that prevents it from rolling away. I never thought I'd be someone who gets excited about a pen, but here we are, and it feels so good in the hand that it actually makes me want to jot things down more. I still rely heavily on digital tools like Things 3 for organizing ideas and stuff, but having this analog setup nearby has changed the way I capture thoughts in the moment. The final piece of the puzzle in my desk setup is this new portable external monitor, and the reason why I waited so long to showcase it is kind of simple. It's just got a super glossy screen. With all the lights I used while filming, I didn't want to deal with the constant reflections, otherwise I would have added it to my setup much sooner. Now this display is actually quite interesting. It's from a brand called UPerfect, which I have featured on the channel before as well as my socials, and I've just genuinely liked every monitor I've tried from them, especially their OLED panel from a few years back, and this is basically their updated version. Instead of being a 4K OLED, this is a 3K OLED with a buttery smooth 120Hz refresh rate. The resolution is really close to the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is great because macOS scaling works perfectly, and I still get the benefit of a high refresh rate, which at this point is a non-negotiable at my setup. It's a 16-inch OLED display with a resolution of 2880 by 1800 and covers 100% of the DCI-P3 color space and has a 1:1 contrast ratio thanks to it being OLED, so everything looks sharp, vibrant, and true to life, so whether you're working, creating, or just watching content. Now to be clear, this isn't going to be my primary display. It's more of like a utility screen, so something to keep Things 3 open, maybe some music, files, just windows that I don't want cluttering up my main screen. And that's the full desk setup. At the center of it all is the LG UltraGear 32-inch dual mode display, a 4K OLED running at 144 Hz, and it's my main display connected to the M2 Ultra Max Studio, which is still my daily workhorse. This thing is an absolute beast, packed with a crazy amount of CPU and GPU cores, a powerful media and neural engine, 64 gigs of RAM, and more ports than I will ever even need. As for storage, I barely touch the internal drive aside from running macOS and all my apps, so everything else lives on external Thunderbolt SSD enclosures from Ugreen. I've got one 2TB NVMe for all my social media projects, another 2TB for my YouTube content, and a larger 4TB drive acting as an archive for raw clips, assets, and important files. All these drives are from Samsung, so they're fast and most importantly reliable. Under the monitor is my desk shelf from Vernal. On the left side sits the Kyuxia Nebula lamp, and on the right side is my little Pirates of the Caribbean corner with the Black Pearl as well as Captain Jack Sparrow's compass. Tucked underneath on the left side, I have my wax warmer garden, and then over on the right, I had two fake plants, which both are small touches, but really makes the space feel intentional and personal. For audio, I'm using the Kanto TUK bookshelf speakers sitting on top of their SP6 HD stands, which is a clean, powerful combo that looks and sounds incredible. Front and center is my UPerfect 3K OLED portable monitor running at 120 Hz. It's my second screen connected to the Mac Studio via a single Apple Thunderbolt 4 cable, and it sits perfectly on the Grove-made Maple iPad stand, and it just gives me the extra screen real estate I need without cluttering up my desk. On the left side, there's my blue notebook and Grove-made titanium pen neatly placed in the maple holder, and then over on the far right, another fake plan to add more greenery. For peripherals, I'm rocking the Apple Magic Keyboard and Magic Trackpad, both resting in Grove-made maple trays with matching wrist rests. My main mouse is the Logitech MX Master 3S in pale gray, sitting on a Grove-made leather mouse pad, which all my peripherals are then sitting on top of their signature wolf felt desk mat. Under the desk, I got the drawer unit where I store my iPad and a few essentials, and then to the right is the CalDigit Thunderbolt 4 dock, and below it the Vernal rolling cabinet, perfect for keeping cables, gear, and tools out of sight but within reach. The chair is still the Herman Miller Aeron I picked up last year, and it's everything they say it is: insanely comfortable, great lumbar support, breathable mesh, and endless adjustability. Mounted on the wall, I've added a few Grid Studio frames, including the iPad mini, iPhone 4S, and most recently the iPhone 10. And finally, up top, the floating shelf holds some LEGO Star Wars, two of my original cameras, and you guessed it, a few more fake plants, because you can never have too much greenery. And that wraps up the new desk setup, a space that blends function with personality. From the Vernal sit-stand desk to the carefully chosen accessories, everything was picked with purpose to keep the workspace clean, minimal, and inspiring. Whether I'm editing photos or videos, writing, or tackling admin tasks, this setup helps me stay organized, comfortable, and creatively energized. Everything I talked about in this video will be linked in the description down below, and if you have any questions about anything in particular, make sure to drop it in the comments. And if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a like and share it to a friend, and if you like Apple tech or desk setup related content, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.